As you already understood, today we will talk about Ten Shadows Technique, which Megumi owns, and at this time Sukuna, Ten Shadows Technique, is a hereditary technique of Clan Zenin, which was owned by at least one important representative of the clan, the one who lived in Edo period and killed the owner of Six Eyes. How cool the technique is obvious. I think you can guess for yourself. Killing Six Eyes is not an easy task. Although at its core this is not a complete infinity technique, at its core this technique is shadow manipulation, a simple but effective way of moving and storing nothing special in appearance. However, the concept of shadow here can expand according to the user's imagination. For example, in the 219th chapter of Sukuna, a shadow is used despite the fact that it is light in space. Remember the Yorozu space for example. Perhaps clinging to the fact that there is no light source in it, in principle, so the law of the real world does not quite work here. This is an extremely important feature of the technique. In fact, it was she who interested Sukuna in the first half of the Cursed Child arc after her guess about the essence of the Sukuna technique and calls Megumi talented, that is, gifted with something truly unique. We remember Sukuna's bewilderment when he realized that Megumi had run away from some special class. But the technique is not limited to fantasy and storage. The user can get 10 treasures of shadows of this technique with various abilities. The shadow also serves as a guide for them. At the moment we know about 10 shadows, we will consider in more detail. Divine dogs, twin canine shikigami with powerful noses for tracking and lethal fangs and claws for devouring curses. The white dog was destroyed by a finger-bearer, but its abilities were inherited by its black twin. Divine dog totality, an improved version of the black divine dog that's incorporating the power of its fallen white twin. Totality is strong enough to contend with special grade cursed spirits. New, a winged shikigami armed with electro-shock wings that can carry people short distances. Great serpent, a gigantic snake shikigami that was used to ensnare Megumi's targets. It was capable of destroying low-level curses but only bound Sukuna momentarily before being destroyed. It is currently unknown which other shikigami inherited its power. Toad or Gamma, shikigami in the form of a toad and a talking name. When combined, New forms the Well's Unknown Abyss, a set of winged toads that cannot be destroyed, that is, shadows can still be combined. Next is Max Elephant, a huge shikigami elephant that can store huge reserves of water and splash them out. In the 218th chapter, the original name of this shikigami, Sukuna, replaces the elephant with Myriad Elephant. This name includes the hieroglyph of the name Yorozu, which has the value 10,000 all or many, that is, it indicates the number. The sixth rabbit escape. Datto is a swarm of cute rabbits that do no harm but create chaos on the battlefield. The seventh serene Madoka deer is a large shikigami emitting positive cursed energy. The power of radiation allows you to erase the cursed energy within the radius of application of this shikigami is quite useful. In fact, the name of the Adoka reading coincides with the common word quiet and calm. The eighth shadow of piercing ox, an extremely powerful shikigami, who is able to attack only in a straight line, receiving even more impact force for this. The Kan hieroglyph in his name means to pierce, as well as in some combinations consistency and constancy. With the ninth shikigami, everything interesting about him is actually still unknown, but with regard to the ninth shikigami, there are several theories, more precisely 3 let me tell you. The first basic theory says that this shikigami will turn out to be a large bee or bumblebee, since the only treasure still unused in the manga by Hachino Hiro is a handkerchief that scares bees away. The second theory reports that it will be a turtle because among the shikigami, there are not yet those who would perform the function of a defender, but after the demonstration it raises doubts. The third theory, as for me the most interesting, ninth shikigami, will be Gasha Dokuro, is a giant skeleton consisting of bones of people who died on the battlefield, due to starvation or for other reasons whose bodies were not properly buried. Perhaps a huge vertebra in the Megumi space hints at the same, so get ready to see soon. Sukuna will show an undisclosed ninth shikigami after General Mahoraga to the article. About him, 8-handled sword divergent Scylla divine General Mahoraga, or Mahoraga, is the strongest of all demonstrated by shikigami, an indomitable monster who most likely once defeated the ancestor of Gojo. The main feature is a huge adaptation to the cursed positive energy to kill or stop Mahoraga. We'll have to use a different type of techniques. How did Sukuna manage to do this? Due to constant cuts and an unlocked arrow of fire from the sanctuary, he has a huge set of skills and embodies harmony by absorbing the power of all previous shikigami from the already demonstrated abilities. This is the blade of the reverse cursed technique, and Otsuka and Sugora are able to erase the curse with one blow. Next comes the wheel that allows the monster to adapt to any phenomenon. If you describe the latter ability in simple language, it's like playing rock paper scissors with someone, making your move after the opponent. Gojo will have a hard time, Now about the 10th shadow. According to the legends of Buddhism and Hinduism, Mahoraga is a race deity in Hinduism, Buddhism and Jainism, and they are often depicted as anthropomorphic creatures with serpentine bodies below the waist. However, their appearance may differ depending on the artistic tradition. Sometimes they have snake heads with humanoid bodies. It is believed that they are associated with large snakes such as python. They also make up one of 8 classes of deities which are said to protect Dharma. Dharma is a wheel of law stylized as a wheel with 8 spokes, also referred to as the good emblem of Buddhism, one of its 8 jewels. A serpent's tail emanating from the head of the human body wheel over the head. Well, I think everything fits here. Shikigami have unique symbols, each of which refers to one of the 10 sacred treasures of Tokusa Dokandaikara. About how they appeared walks many legends. One says that they were brought to Japan by a Korean prince, the other that they were transferred from the Adzin of the Mononobe clan. In any of the versions, they consist of 10 items from left to right, from top to bottom, 2 mirrors, 1 ball of 4 curved beads of precious stones, and 3 Shikigami scarves. The techniques of 10 shadows of the image of treasures are reflected rather as design elements, with the exception of the blade that Mahoraga himself wears, also called an 8-fist ball. All Shikigami combine the general principles of their management. The first principle is mortality, that is, a full-fledged embodiment of Shikigami disappears forever if destroy him, as it happened with divine dogs Megumi, but they do not disappear without a trace, but strengthen other Shikigami by merging with them. Yes, that is, if he has 10 shadows, the 9th will die, then the 10th will be a mega advanced combination. The user can combine the basics or the abilities of Shikigami and embody them into new chimera creatures. This works even with the abilities of destroyed Shikigami. Once again, let me remind you again how, for example, Nu is combined with toads. In fact, this is an extremely cool feature because you can imagine this. Independence fully embodied Shikigami can act on the basis of only general commands, as opposed to incomplete calls. Incomplete incarnation is not necessary to summon a full-fledged Shikigami from the shadows. His unstable form can also have an advantage in battle. First of all, such animals cannot be destroyed. Secondly, in exchange for this, the owner of the equipment sacrifices their independence and full power. Inferior Shikigami are weaker than full analogs and cannot move by themselves, while the Shikigami summoning seals from the shadows are well-known figures of the Shadow Theater. Pause it to see more details. But how Sukuna sees the technique of 10 shadows. Now it is safe to say that this technique is one of the key manga, which can be a decisive help to Sukuna, but it is very noticeable that he uses it completely differently. How is Megumi's understanding of Sukuna technique really different? Take a look at his interpretation of divine dogs, or remember how he used the wheel at Mahoraga, forcing Yorozu to put all his tricks on the table before delivering a decisive and uncompromising blow. On the side of Sukuna is also his original power of his worldview. Let's recall Megumi's thoughts from chapter 58, called Shadows from the Depths. Do not think about a clear form, just create it and be free. These words were uttered after a short flashback with Gojo, where he chastises the student for under the pressure of his own potential. Megumi is not sure that he is able to create something powerful, so his Nu is so small compared to Nu Sukuna, and in fact Megumi could become even stronger by delving into understanding his cursed technique. But unfortunately it did not grow together a little, so the technique of 10 shadows will continue to develop, leaving behind the former owner. If Mahoraga really is the embodiment of all others, the technique and the shadows themselves in fact do not have any physical limitations. Their shape, strength, size depends only on the imagination of the owner. Mahoraga will come out not just cool but the coolest as this technique itself. Therefore, most likely, we will not be shown the full evolution of the 10 shadows. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.